Well, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on where you are. My name is Lisa Gunshore. I am your host for the One Heart, One Earth Global Healing Summit for June 2020, Creating a Sustainable Future. Welcome to everybody who's joining in the live. Thank you for watching all of these presentations. I can't believe we're already at the last 3 presentations of the day. This is so crazy, of day 2. We have been going and going, for, well, at the end of today, it'll be like 48 hours of presentations. So it's really incredible. And I'm very happy to have with us Cheryl Garcia. Cheryl, welcome.
Thank you.
And Cheryl has a fabulous presentation for us about balcony gardening, which I can't wait to dig into. So I'm going to let Cheryl take it away. If you have questions and comments, you can post those in the live feed to the right. Click subscribe down to the left, or on the mobile device, it should be directly below. And I am so excited. Go ahead, Cheryl, take it away.
Thank you. So my name again is Cheryl Garcia. I am an herbalist, and you can find me on coloradoherbalist.com. And this whole summit is about sustainability. And one of the parts of sustainability, I think, is to be able to grow your own produce, if possible, and herbs. And also, being an herbalist, I tend to really love to dig in dirt, in plants, in gardening and things like that. So I wanted to share that even if you live in an apartment or a condo or a small house, that you can do gardening in small spaces like a balcony or a patio. Even if you don't have an outdoor space, you can do some things inside too. So the first things to think about before you do that is what kind of sunlight you get. Most vegetables need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight, except lettuce. Lettuce can do a lot less sunlight, and so you can even do like a window box with lettuce and have your own salads. Herbs are a little lighter on the sunlight too. There's herbs that do less sunlight. So those are easier to grow if you don't have direct sunlight. You have to think about how you're going to water them. I have a big pitcher that I fill in the sink and walk out a couple of times to water my plants. So if you have a long trek to water plants, like if you're going up on a roof or something, you might want to think about that. How much space you have. Now, if it's a really small space, you can also plant vertically. So beans, you can do a tomato and then have other plants grow like behind it. So you can make space too, but think about how much space you have, because some plants do take up more space. And then weight. So pots and dirt and plants weigh a lot. So make sure you've got sturdy boards under you if you're on a balcony or where you are, that it can take the weight. So once you got it set and you think you're ready to do it, what can you grow? So you can grow, like I said, lettuce. You can grow things like even bok choy, which is more of a cabbage. Most herbs, all herbs, tomatoes, zucchini, green beans, eggplant, what else? Onions, carrots, cucumbers, radishes. You can get a pretty good variety of plants that you can grow in containers on your balcony, your patio, or whatever. Indoors, you're obviously more limited because of space, lighting, and stuff. But what else? Broccoli. Oh, my favorite, jalapenos. So any of the peppers, I always have to have jalapenos. And then the other thing you can do is you can mix them in a pot. So you can have, let's say, do like a tomato that takes a long time to grow and mature. And then in the bottom of the pot, do like radishes or lettuce that mature quicker. So you're saving space that way. Let's see. So the type of containers you can do is, like I said, a window box. Let me show you what I have here. real quick. So this is going to be real professional when I take my camera off of here. So forgive the shakiness. If I can get it off. Here we go. All right, so let's see, sorry. So right here, I have zucchini, and it is just in a blue, oh, I lost it, hold on a sec. See, this is technology and amateur. I'm coming, hold on a sec here. It did work when I tested, sorry about that. Anyway, I just have regular, bigger pots down there. There you go, zucchini, you can see my buds, my flowers. This one is green beans, and I am using a tomato trellis to kind of hold it up. You can be real inventive on climbing plants. And then here are my jalapenos. And like I said, just in a regular pot. And then we're gonna go over here. This container I bought on Amazon, and it is shallow, so I put herbs in it. So I have rosemary, sorry, I'm not a filmmaker. Chives, lavender, basil, and mint in this one. This is my first year doing this one, so I wasn't sure how many I could get to grow, but it's actually not looking that bad. And sorry again that my filmmaking skills really suck. But anyway, there's that. And bring it back around. Hopefully. There we go. And I'm crooked and back. So the other things, you do want, the vegetable plants need larger pots. Herbs can be in shallower pots. So that's kind of what you can keep in mind. Clay pots, they look really nice, but they dry out really fast. And if it's on a balcony in the sun and you're gone at work all day, it may not work for you. You can also do hanging baskets with herbs and stuff in them, strawberries, hanging baskets. And I mentioned going up, vertical gardening. Also, the other thing I wanted to mention was upcycling things or repurposing things. And I wanted to show you, because my friend and I, we got together and got some succulents. So it's not actually anything you want to eat, but I wanted to show you because it gives you ideas of what you can upcycle and use as a pot. And these are cooking pots that I got at a garage sale. So my friend put my succulents in them. So I have a set of 3 old vintage cooking pots that are now my succulents. So that just, open up your mind for different things you can use creatively, so you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on pots if you have stuff laying around. So then let's talk about getting started on potting. When you get a plant, for those who haven't done this, they come in either a little plastic pot, or they come in one of these biodegradable, they rip off pots. So if it comes in one of these, you can actually, these pieces of pot, you can keep in the pot you're putting it in because they're biodegradable. The only thing it has is plastic, which is clearly not biodegradable. But you just want to break apart the bottom a little bit to let the roots, usually they've been in the pot so long that the roots are all like bundled together. If you pull them out of a plastic pot, you'll see they're all bundled together. You want to kind of break that up, or they will continue to grow in this one little form and they won't really thrive. They need to start growing out. So then you just break it up, take the plastic off, which is what I was doing, sorry. Let me put it down for a second. There we go. And then when you put it in the new pot with your dirt, and you can buy potting soil. Potting soil has the fertilizer and everything already in it for the first, depending on the soil, month to 3 months. So you won't have to worry about any fertilizing for a little while. And you can get organic potting soil too. When you put it in, excuse me, you want to, and this, by the way, is German thyme that I'm sticking in here. It smells really good. You want to get it in there, and then when you fill it with dirt, you want to fill it over the top of the dirt, the old dirt. If there's a stem, like a tomato plant, you want to fill it with new dirt up to about half to the level of the leaves. Sorry, I had to think for a minute, but cover a lot of the bottom with the new dirt. So it has a really good chance of getting set in there so the roots can take hold. So then you just get it in there really good, cover it with the new dirt. You can water it the first, usually with fresh planting soil. I actually don't water it right away because it's been traumatized a little bit, and it's usually already been watered from the nursery, and it's got enough moisture for a couple of days. And then you just set it in there. I'm not going to put the dirt in there because then I'll make a huge mess. And living on a balcony, there is somebody below me, so I don't want to do that to him. But anyway, set it in there, get the dirt in there, and then you're going to water these plants because they're outdoors in the heat of the summer, sometimes twice a day, because they dry out really fast. If it's not a super hot day or they're not in the sun, you could probably do once a day. But then they'll start thriving, and you can start just taking them right off and eating them off your plant, out of your garden. When they come with what they are, these little things you can stick in the dirt, it tells you how big they're growing, how much sun they need. If you're putting them in all in one space, how far apart to plant, which isn't always necessary with container plants. But I always stick them in the pot to remind me what they are, because sometimes when you have a lot, you look at it and go, what was that again? Because if you're getting creative and trying something new, you might forget that this is German thyme and not regular thyme. So that's how you get started on those. And one of my favorite days is when I can get out and really dig in dirt. I absolutely love digging in the dirt. There's something so therapeutic about it. So also the other thing was on the bigger pots, on drainage, they need to have drainage so the water doesn't just sit in the bottom. You can put a row of small rocks about an inch on the bottom. I usually try to use what I have. So bigger rocks, you can put some of those on the bottom. It's just so the water won't sit and the dirt won't pack down. When I moved into an apartment, I didn't have rocks. And so I actually crumbled up aluminum foil and put it in the bottom just to keep that space. So when it would have the drainage. Let's see. So you do want to fertilize them 1 to 2 times a month. I was using a fish emulsion fertilizer, which is organic and really good for plants. Really smells. Be forewarned, it really stinks, but they love it. You might want to have the windows open. That was, yeah, learned that one. The animals thought that was good. My animals, my dogs and my cats. What else? I wanted to show you this. These are the green beans that I just picked off of my green bean plant yesterday. Now, of course, you cannot feed a family of 4 on this, but for me, this is perfect. And I was very pleased because I hadn't done green beans before, so I was loving this, and there's still some on there. So that was really nice. I was like, yay, I have green beans for dinner. One other thing is the animals, wild animals, or pets, because my dogs have been gnawing on my zucchini leaves. Did not know they would do that. Squirrels love parsley. I have lost a lot of parsley to squirrels. Birds will eat berries. If you have strawberries and there are birds, before the strawberries come up, put little red Christmas ornaments, like the tiny ones, in there. The birds will think those are berries. try to eat them, find out they're not food. And then when your strawberries actually come in, they'll leave them alone because they already tried on that plant and it wasn't edible. So that's a little tip if you're going to do berries, any red berries. I would assume it would work for other berries if you got that color ball or something that color that they will try to eat. I just know for strawberries that really works. The parsley, we had a guinea pig that we were growing it for. And at the time I had it on a fence, a wooden box on a fence, and I had parsley on the top. And so the squirrel would come on across the top of the fence like a buffet, and I had absolutely no parsley. So things like that, you've got to know that the wildlife will take their part, and just don't be mad about it. Just know that it's going to happen. Let's see. So the other thing, now, if you're going to do it indoors, you can look up online. There are ways, if you don't have great light in windows or you're going into winter, there are lighting setups you can do to grow these indoors. Herbs are the best thing to grow indoors because they, like I said, don't need a lot of direct light. They grow really well in a window. Lettuce does too. You can also start your own from seed indoors. You can get these trays with little sections, and they sell little, they look like pods, but it's like I don't know what's in it, fertilizer and little things that the seeds love. You put them in there, put a lid on it, keep the humidity and the light, and I've done it. You have to start that early in the year because, of course, like depending on where you live. In Texas, when I did it, I think we started it in January because you could start planting in like March or April. Colorado, clearly you plant the end of May, so a couple months before planting season, and you can start that, and it's really neat. I really love doing that, and it gives you a more variety of what you can grow, and you know how it's been grown, so you know it's been organic, and you know what you're getting, and it's just really neat to be able to do that. I love doing that, and you can grow them indoors too, and then transfer them, pot them when they're big enough to wherever you're going to put them. Composting when you live in an apartment or condo is not really a thing you can usually do, but neighborhoods, if you look into, a lot of neighborhoods have neighborhood compost piles that you can add to and get from. And of course, plants love compost. It helps them grow really well. So you can think about that. What am I missing? So I'm missing something. Let me think. I got my notes here. So then let's go on to when you've, since we're looking at sustainability, and I lost my camera again, sorry, because I'm trying a new one. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know how long we lost it. So sustainability. So taking stuff into winter or using scraps. And the sun came out, so now I'm darker. Sorry. There we go. That's better. So you can, like herbs, you can freeze your herbs because a lot of times when you're growing your own, especially, you get a lot of extra. And you can either lay them out on the stem, freeze them like on a baking sheet, and then put them in a container. You can put them in an ice cube tray, pack the ice cube tray with the herb, add a little bit of water, freeze them like that. You can make a pesto, freeze that in like an ice cube tray. That's a good way to save your herbs to be able to use throughout the year. Also, I'm growing mint, so mint ice cubes for teas and drinks is amazing. But those are really good ways to do it. You can also dry them, of course, hang them and dry them to use later if you don't want to freeze them for cooking. You can also can your food if you want. When you're growing your own in a small space, usually you do not have enough to can, but that is something to think about if you wanted to start doing that. I have had enough jalapenos from a container jalapeno plant. There's actually 2 containers, jalapeno plants to can jalapenos. That was not enough to get me through to the end of the year because I eat a lot of jalapenos. So some do produce a lot in containers of smaller things like the jalapenos and things like that. So you can can them. And the other one I wanted to talk about was using the scraps to make soup broth when you are peeling and cutting your carrots and your potatoes and onions and things like that, or if you have some vegetables that are not going bad, so to speak, but they're not really fresh that you want to actually eat it. If you freeze them in a bag, and even with chicken bones that you've used, freeze it, throw it all in a stock pot, and you can make chicken broth or vegetable broth later with them instead of tossing them. And it's wonderful because then you have no waste. And I do that a lot. I also sometimes stale bread, give it to the birds. And some of the vegetables, the animals around here do not like cabbage, I've learned, but other vegetables, the carrots, sometimes I'll give to the birds, or not to the birds, but to the animals out where I live here. That back in the Depression era, they could not waste anything. And during World War II, they could not waste anything, especially World War II in Europe. So they were really good about using every part of the vegetable, every part of an animal. They had a saying that was, use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. So they mended their clothes, darned their socks. My grandma darned socks. I remember her darning socks when I was a teenager, and I'm not that old. And so they think about that when you're also gardening and you have excess, or you're cooking and you've got scraps. Compost them, freeze them. There was a couple of books. They're called Scraps, Peels, and Stems by Jill Leitner and Cooking with Scraps by Lindsay Jean Hard. And those give you ideas about what to do with the extra stuff that you might not have thought of. And I have here some of the things. So for those of us who like a little drink, there's citrus peel vodka that you make with your own citrus peel. There's a lot of things you can do with the citrus peel and zest, with baking cakes and things with that. There's a cookie crumb pie crust or cereal crumb pie crust. Baked apple peels after making a pie. I don't know, I haven't made a pie in a really long time, but then you bake the apple peels, which actually sounds really good. And you could definitely peel an apple for a kid. You could do that, and do baked potato peels. And you toss them with oil, salt, and herbs and bake them in the oven. That sounds amazing. And the other thing that they had was roasted broccoli stems. Broccoli stems you can eat. You don't have to toss them. You just peel them like with a peeler, and that's the only hard part. The inside is just as soft and edible as the rest of it. I think a lot of people just think you can't eat it, and it's just the outside of it that has that really hard, unedible part. So just so you know, just peel it. It works. I do it all the time. Get more for your money too, because they try to sell you the huge stem with them now. Then you can cook, puree broccoli or cauliflower stems with beans to make a dip. Using the pumpkin pith and goo to make scones. Ew, I love scones. And of course, roasting the pumpkin seeds. I think a lot of people already do that. Quick pickled melon rinds. I don't know, I might try that one. And pineapple skin lemonade. That sounds good too. So they have all sorts of things in their books that you could look at where you can save money, try new things, and really use what we have and put less waste out there. I think that is all that I have. Yep. I have no idea how long that took me to do, but that's all I have. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And you can find me at coloradoherbalist.com. You can email me at colorado_herbalist at outlook.com and ask any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And have fun, dig in the dirt, enjoy the sun. And thank you for joining me.